for checking out our campaign. My name's Inwood, and I've been living and working in El Salvador for the past 12 years, supporting a group of subsistence farmers to change their world. Never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. Do you ever ask yourself, how do people feed themselves when all their best land is taken up by growing coffee and sugar for us, or covered in sweatshops making our cheap t-shirts? And how do they survive the disasters of climate change caused by our carbon emissions? Well, I've had the privilege of working with a group of passionately committed people in El Salvador who've been finding the answers. They've been sharing with each other how to live well from their land and how to care for it and care for each other. 10 years ago they set up the Permaculture Institute to help them teach other people natural ways of living and farming. And after 10 years of being ignored by their government and all the other agencies working in the country, suddenly everybody's really interested in what they're doing, wanting to know how they're bringing fertility back to eroded soil, and how they're increasing the production of crops without using chemicals, and how they're protecting the land from the droughts and flooding. There are thousands of families now in El Salvador working with permaculture methods, and they're led by a group of men, women and young people. Some of them can't even read and write, and they live in some of the poorest communities in El Salvador. But they have the answers, and they're showing their country how it can feed itself and how it can cope with climate change. It looks as though their government might finally care enough to support them, but in a few months they're going to run out of funds. And they need so little to carry on teaching thousands more farmers. Can you spare the cost of a cup of coffee or two, or a cheap t-shirt? If enough of us do that, we can push them through this very difficult time, and also know that we can make a difference ourselves. Thank you so much for your support.